I am Jacob Wurtz.
And I'm Jacob Gabel.
And this is the Untapped Podcast.
Boom.
Boom.
Episode 30.
30?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Wow.
3 decades.
Wait. That's...
We haven't been going for 30 years. One episode a year.
One episode a year? I'm like, I guess there's a plan behind that somehow, but...
oh, God.
Not my favorite
dude.
idea.
30 episodes. That's freaking awesome.
It's still surreal in a lot of ways,
yeah,
too.
absolutely. We say that so much, but guys, like, I don't... You as the listeners and viewers, like, I don't think you guys understand, like, it is. It's very surreal, and then when we get interaction, like, we've got a Q&A from our DMs today, and, like, just all that kind of stuff. Like, guys, it means the world. It means the world. 2, it lets us, like, know that we're reaching people. You know, we just found out, we were just looking at our metrics and statistics and whatnot for the podcast. We now have 7 different countries, including the United States, 7 different countries that we have had listens from. And that, that's unbelievable. I mean, that's awesome. As a reminder, we're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music now. Still working on freaking Apple. Like, I promise, I'm not just saying that, but literally, it's been annoying.
Yeah, Apple's been fun to deal with. Since
Yeah.
Sure.
The process is just confusing at parts, but whatever. But guys, we love it, man. Like, we love doing this, like, for ourselves, but we love bringing value to you guys. You know, coming off the Mitch episode, like, that's a rather unusual type of episode for us, but this business, this podcast, this world that we're all in revolves so much around technology, social media, security, easy. What's the word I'm looking for? Convenience.
Yeah,
convenience. You know, just
quick,
all that
instant gratification.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And so we felt like, why would we not bring Mitch on when we have the opportunity to give like an insider look at all that kind of stuff? You know, this is a guy that's in that field, fully versed in all of that. So we really hope you guys enjoyed that. It did well. We had a lot of listens on that, and like, it was just exciting. It was cool to talk to a family member too. Like, I'm sure you were just.
It was definitely fun to have Mitch on.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
He's of course talking to me after. He's like, man, like, I could have said this better. I'm like, Mitch, trust me.
Yeah,
it's just part of the game.
Right.
Like Wurtz and I look back on plenty of episodes. We're like, man, like, that could have been better and whatnot. Especially the first 3.
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah.
First few episodes, listening to them, it was just like, this was a little painful.
But it's still so cool to look back on those too, because it's like, okay, us two at that point in time in December.
Yeah.
We made the decision to do this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that. Those, you know, kids, so to speak. You know, like, again, 7 months ago, whatever it was now. We made the decision to take the step to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
The same thing with our fitness and whatnot.
Yes.
Like, I mean, leading into our topic, but like, it's like ourselves. We made that decision to change our bodies and whatnot, of course, and change our mentality.
And it started.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's just like these two, like the 2 companies here, the 2 brands. I guess not necessarily 2 companies, but 2 brands here. You know, Extrication and Untapped. For those of you on the video, like, you guys see the flag here behind us with both logos. Like, over a year ago now, coming up on 2 actually. I guess October would be 2 years, I think.
Yep.
Of Extrication.
Yep.
You know, we were doing all this planning. You know, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? You know, posting schedule. How many posts? All this kind of stuff. We were trying to plan out every little detail, and we got to a point where we were like, hey, we just got to start.
Sure.
Same thing with the podcast. You know, we were doing all this research on ways to start a podcast and stuff that we needed to learn how to do, like, as far as the software and stuff like that. But that's not necessarily what I mean. But basically getting the confidence to just do it, to start, and to be confident in ourselves to be able to do something like this. And guys, every episode, it just continues to take off, and it's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. It's so cool that we're getting to do this. And we just love doing this, guys. So keep the support, keep the listens, keep the interaction, all that stuff, guys. We love it. Tell your friends about it, tell your family members about it. Help us spread and grow. That's what we ask.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
So
awesome.
Anyway, let's get into the topic. We're going to get back into a more fitness directed episode. You know, obviously you got 2 personal trainers here, 2 guys that, you know, just today we went to a different gym. You know, you've been going for a little while, Gable, but Complete Fitness out in House Springs, Missouri. A little bit out there.
Yep. Shout out. Yep.
But the place was sick. You know, on the inside part, it's got everything you would need: dumbbells, machines, cardio, all that kind of stuff. But the biggest attraction with it was their outdoor part. And you've been going there for a few weeks. And I was like, dude, I gotta go.
That I know it's the only place in St. Louis that has like an outdoor part like that.
Yeah, as far as I know,
unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's super cool. And again, it's we were talking about how much of a business risk that can be.
Yeah,
having like cool equipment outside, but it's such a unique draw. So
yes,
really fun. But
yeah, and we got our full workout in. Everything. Like I had a chest and back day today, and I did everything outside.
Yep,
everything. So very, very cool out there. But the point is again, we're fitness guys, we're trainers. We're always trying to learn new things in the fitness world, see new things, try new things, and going to different gyms and stuff is a way to do that.
It's part of that process. Yeah, sure.
So we wanted to get back a little bit into the fitness world, and essentially what we want to talk about, guys, is we're going to cover three main points. One of those being 75 hard, another following a stricter program like workout regimen, like an 8-week or a 10-week, or we both have done 13-week ones.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about those, and then we're also going to talk about your workouts and your fitness while not on a program. So not on a 75 hard, not on a specific amount of time type of program, and mostly we're going to talk about after those. So what to expect after those, how to continue your momentum, and to also how to not drive yourself into the ground, essentially.
Yep.
So we're going to cover those three main things. Let's kind of lay that out now. First one being 75 hard.
Yep.
We both have now completed it 2 times.
Yep.
We're both talking a lot about starting phase 1 together.
Yep.
Potentially here very soon. Phase 1 is just the next part of the whole Live Hard program, which is 75 hard is the first part. But I've talked about some of my experience with it, but I want you to kind of, after you complete it, what are some things that you've noticed, maybe even struggled with, or just felt mentally, physically, all kind of stuff. So let's start by, I want to hear kind of your experience.
Sure. So mainly, of course, since it's fresh in my mind, this last time of completing it,
I'd say finished what, a week ago?
Oh gosh,
it's
like about 2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks ago,
about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. It was finished on June 24th to be exact.
I guess.
Yep.
2 weeks ago today. Oh no, that'd be 3 weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
anyway, whatever.
So about 3 weeks now, and so starting on literally day 75.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I, we go and work out at House Pain in Chesterfield, and great gym, have a great workout there, or was it Legacy? Either way, but so we had a really great workout, and so I get home after we're done working out together and whatnot, and I remember kind of sat down for a second. I'm like thinking about, wow, this is awesome. One, that I'm about to complete this program. Day 75. I'm still going through my 2 workouts that day, every other task on the list, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly enough, I also have, so randomly, I'm sitting on the couch for a second, kind of taking a look at different things like what, how to keep my momentum after going, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
just kind of evaluating.
Exactly. Basically an evaluation time. Yeah. And again, it was still a hard working day, of course.
Sure.
But I took probably 20, 30 minutes to evaluate after that first workout of the day in the morning. And I remember I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I kind of like move my left arm, and my tricep locks up.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah. Yes. So my tricep locked.
Nuts.
Yeah. It was terrifying, to be honest with you, because I'd had in the past, like probably 3-4 months, and this was a little before 75 hard, I'd had like bicep tendon issues in both the right and the left arm. One of them, basically tendonitis / just overuse feelings.
Yeah.
Like I'd been in a hockey game, I'd lifted a guy's stick and my right bicep had locked up, and I had to play the rest of my shift with it hanging here.
Yeah.
So it was kind of terrifying because the opposite thing happened on day 75 where my tricep locked up, and so I'm hanging my arm here like this, and it just, anytime I went like this, it literally felt like it was like this, like a vice grip grabbing my arm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the world? So was
it basically like a more intense cramp?
Yes, a very intense like feeling of like, it felt, I noticeably noticed it wasn't a cramp. It was like an overuse / like tightening of the tendon feeling, like a tendon that just like freaked out and locked up, kind of almost in a way. I don't know the exact specifics of this because again, I'm not some kind of doctor of physical therapy, chiropractic, etc. So I don't know exactly what was going on. It's just I had a similar feeling in my bicep before. So this happened, and so I took a lacrosse ball, myofascial release, my shoulder hit it right there and just sat on it.
Essentially, what that means is just putting pressure on it, moving. It's the same thing a foam roller does.
Yes,
just for
same
people
concept.
who don't understand that that wording is.
Right.
It's just releasing pressure. Is essentially
it basically like push the tissue, compress the tissue, and then let the blood flow get to it. It's the idea behind it. Yeah,
exactly.
And that helped. It loosened, and I'm like, what in the hell? And I'm like, okay, well, it's day 75. Thank goodness.
Yeah, right.
Because like, again, I probably would like if it would have been day 75, it would have been like day 60, whatever day it would have been. And that would have happened. I would have been like, I would have really had to slow down a lot of my workouts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so
especially any push movements.
So I was like, one, thankful that happened on day 75
for sure.
Not thankful at all it happened, of course.
But if it was like day 37,
yeah,
like you'd have to man, if this is serious,
yes,
we might even have to shut it down.
It would have rattled me mentally for sure during that program. So I finished out my walk, everything that day, and I'm evaluating. I'm like, okay. So that just kicked my ass. Mm-hmm. So to me, it almost like kind of told me, now this is like a kind of a crazy mentality, insane man mentality. You get it 100%. But I'm like, man, that means I really did something right this round around.
Yeah.
Like this round felt, and I probably mentioned this before, this round felt more fulfilling.
Dude, I could tell you were extra locked in, and when we both went through it last year, we started at the same time. You had to restart, 2.5 weeks in, something like that?
Yeah, day 17 was 17.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. But, and I noticed after that, too, even because you restarted the next day. And there's a lot of people that wouldn't. I got 17 days in. Like, cool. It's better than 0. Like, okay, dude.
It's better than my normal. I eat the donut the next day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you restart, and even then, I could noticeably, see, you were like, that ain't happening again.
Yeah.
Like, we're done with that.
Yeah.
Like, that happened. And okay,
yep.
But here we go. We're day 1. That's not happening again. But I could see this time there was absolutely a 0% chance that any type of little mess up is going to happen. Like I could see that you were especially locked in, and I think part of that comes when you go through it again, and obviously this is not going to be the last time that we do this program.
Not even close,
and not even including phase 1, 2, and 3, but just 75 hard. We'll definitely be doing it again. At some point.
Yep.
And I think as you do it after the first time, you've learned so many different things, because this was something that when I finished it the second time, earlier this year, I kind of struggled for a couple days mentally, because I was like, man, the first time I finished, it was so profound. So profound, wow. I've never done anything like this. This is intense. This is real. This is productive. This is life-changing. Honestly, it really is. And when you do it for that first time, it's such a euphoric feeling almost.
Yeah.
You finish it the second, and there's not that initial excitement that you have for the first time. But if you can kind of have the maturity level to it and get past those maybe a couple days after, where man, that wasn't quite the same feeling, you find the new things that you learned, the different things you learned.
Yep.
So I think each time is just going to be different, is essentially my point.
Yep. Definitely. Well, and so kind of going off, and now again, that happened, and I'm like, okay, I literally purposely told myself in my head, that was an indicator to me. I need to take literally a week off and see what happens. And I did, of course. I still was active. I got my walks in, so my bad. But it was definitely a very slow week, which is a very mental test, because you're not used to just sitting around a lot of times.
Right.
Again, not necessarily sitting around, but what mentally feels like sitting around, so to speak.
Right.
So that was actually good, though, because I remember the next day, day 76. Again, some people go right into phase 1. Everyone, some people go right from 75 right into phase 1. That to me, though, was an indication that I needed to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, right.
So I kind of told myself that, and I'm like, cool. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to listen to my body. As hard as that is, sometimes you just want to keep going. You want to power through. But of course, I've heard people with horror stories of different programs and whatnot. They keep going, and all of a sudden they really ruin. They all of a sudden they need surgery and stuff and whatnot. Right. I'm like, okay,
an actual
issue.
Yeah,
and it's okay, I can't do that, because then it'll cost 3 months of stuff. So why don't I just take a week now instead of cutting out this many months?
Right. And like you said, during that week off, you're not literally just down here sitting on the couch for a week. You're not doing that.
That would have been something.
You're still reading, putting good things into your mind. You're still keeping your diet as good as possible.
Yep.
And getting walks or just some movement in.
Yep.
That's the key there.
Yep.
Because there are a lot of people, I completed it, I'll just chill now. I did it.
Yep.
If that's your mentality, you missed the point.
Seems a little questionable if you actually did it right at that point in time.
Yeah, right.
Right. And the next day again, I had a couple beers with you. I had some Busch Lights and whatnot, and then I kind of I already told myself like I think I'll probably have like a beer or so after with Wurtz and whatnot because it's a celebratory thing.
Sure.
It was nice. It was really nice to have one. But again, it's like I didn't go the next day and black out.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Let's
go to the club. Let's get crazy.
That wasn't the idea. So it was really nice to just kind of chill and have a beer and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is like a quick celebratory thing,
right?
But not just like go back into a horrible habit, which I never had a horrible habit there.
Every day.
Yeah, but. Yeah, so after, and it's been interesting though because like of course I don't have the actual how do I put this accountability that comes along with the program now. Mm-hmm. So I've had to again what I've been doing to accountable. I just like I told you today, I've been going and really just enjoying my workouts. Like I'm like off a program, I'm just going and I'm gonna hit the certain body parts I need to, but I'm also really gonna like switch up some exercise and throw some stuff and that's been really fulfilling for me in a lot of ways because I've still gone outside, of course, gotten some like kept my reading going. The reading's been easily again like I'm more set in stone this time and that's felt really good because
same for me honestly.
I love reading, dude. Like it's so nice and mentally satisfying, and we can't talk enough about that, everyone, but so it's been interesting.
You're reading Le Chat
right The Way Forward by Robert O'Neill and Dakota Meyer, two stud former military guys, etc.
And I'm currently reading Endure by Cameron Haynes.
Yep. Check them out. Both really good books.
That's his new book. And actually, The Way Forward is a brand new book as well. Yeah. Guys, both huge recommendations here. Like, both are awesome books. Yep. I'm excited for you to read Endure because you're going to love it too.
That's what I'll go to next.
Yeah, but, Cam Haynes is a beast.
Yeah, so that would, but yeah, anyways, like the whole basic overarching theme of like how to recover from 75 hard, basically what I'm saying is evaluate your own body.
Yes.
In my case, I was like, I definitely should take this.
Yes.
I hated that I was like, I probably should. Like,
right.
And I did, and that was like almost a maturity factor in a way too. But if you're feeling good, if you're feeling ready to go, and you want to keep going at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or like what I did this second time is I took a deload week.
Yep.
So I was still going because like I didn't have a physical thing happen like what Gabel did here, like an arm locking up. Like that's a literal your body saying, "Hey,
it was a visceral, scary thing to happen."
Yeah. So that's a physical thing that happened. I thankfully didn't have something like that, but I was like, okay, this is 2.5 months straight at 7 days a week of 2 workouts. Not every day was 2 in the gym or anything, or not every day.
Unbelievably blowing your body to pieces.
Yes.
Workouts.
Even like most of my Sundays on the program look like yoga and then a walk. Or a ruck or something like that.
Yep.
That's usually what most Sundays look like. But even those count. 7 days a week for 2.5 straight months. You got to take a deload week. And even off of 75 hard, guys, you need to take deload weeks like that. And we'll
touch on that in the third point.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Sure.
But yeah, what he's saying is it's going to be person to person. He had a physical thing. I didn't. So he decided to take the week off, which is a smart thing to do. Very, very smart thing to do. But he still found a way to get some movement in.
Yep.
I luckily didn't have a physical problem, like an accentuated muscle cramp or spasms or whatever this would be with the tendon, whatever it might be. But I still had the awareness, like, hey, we're going to take a deload week. We're still going to get into the gym, still going to get after it, still going to hit the same amount of sets and reps and body parts and all that kind of stuff. We're just going to take it a little bit slower on the weight, instead of 90s on dumbbell press, we're going to rep out the 60s.
Yep.
Yep. And that's still going to be very productive.
It's very productive because it still gets stimulation to your muscles at that point in time, which is the big thing. But your body is like, it allows stuff to recover. Because the thing is, the biggest difference is that the 60s won't tear the muscle fiber like they might have used to when we were originally starting with you.
Yeah.
But the 90s would. So what he's doing is he's letting those muscle fibers, like, they get activated. But really, all he's doing is like stimulating recovery at that point in time.
Yes, exactly.
Which is really good for like that. Deload weeks are so important. We can't talk about that enough. But so again, it could look different for everybody. Like that's the biggest thing.
It is going to.
It's going to. Like you could the next day have a couple beers, whatever, chill, and maybe take entire days off, and you just get outside, get a little sunlight, sit outside and read, something like that. It could be you take a deload week.
Yes. The biggest thing too, and I don't want to overlook this, keep the water.
Yeah.
Keep the water, keep the hydration, because if you go 2.5 months of a gallon every day, which is not as difficult. Like if you just get into the habit,
if you have two workouts, the biggest thing. You're guaranteed you have to want to drink that a gallon.
Especially in St. Louis, as hot as it gets in humid. Like you have to. But anyway, if you go from a gallon a day for 2.5 months straight, and then you just go to like maybe half a gallon on day 76, you're gonna have issues. Your body's not gonna be feeling good. It's not gonna recover. Like you're not gonna have energy. Like keep the hydration. If you only keep one thing after doing the program, hydration.
Yep.
Like, seriously.
Yep.
And the diet, honestly. Otherwise, you're just going to be in the bathroom all day because your body's going to be like, what are you doing?
Why are you throwing Burger King at me right now?
Or a Crave case.
We totally didn't eat that.
It's confirmed. We split a Crave case, guys.
Dude, just quick detour, everyone. But we each had 15 sliders from White Castle, and it was like one of the easiest things I've ever done in my life. I don't know why. It didn't take any effort. It was bad, actually. I don't know why it was so easy. It shouldn't have been.
It was 2,100 calories for each of us, and it felt like it was like 800, maybe. Dude, it was so bad. It was a blast. But see, guys, we put in so much of the work, like we can afford to do that one night and have some fun with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't be doing that every week. Don't be going to White Castle.
God, please don't go to White Castle every week.
Holy, I mean, yeah.
Unless you want to destroy your digestive system, but that's on you, I guess.
That toilet's gonna be getting the work. And maybe have some greens on hand too.
Yeah, some greens, please.
Little shout out to first one.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, that's kind of what we recommend post 75 hard, guys.
Yep.
Like, we've gone through it twice. We're gonna go through it again. We're hopefully gonna start phase 1 here soon together. Like, evaluate. Like, personally, if you're doing it with someone, that's awesome. That's awesome. But they're going to be feeling something different than what you are. Mm. So evaluate personally and do what you got to do.
Yep.
Okay? Be smart about it.
Yep.
Okay, so that second point that we wanted to talk about, we'll just shout out Brock Wilson here. We've mentioned him before. Him and Britt both running Force Performance in Brentwood.
Yep.
Brentwood, Missouri. So we both did Brock's 13-week strength phase of his power program.
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know, there is a difference between strength and power.
Yep.
A lot of people think they're the same, and they're not. But anyway, we do his 13-week program, and at least I'll speak for myself here. I think you'll agree, though. It's different than any kind of program I've ever done.
Yep.
As far as the movements, the equipment used, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of it I still carry over, and probably will carry over forever, honestly, for the most part. But it's a 6 days a week he programs, and it's intense. I mean, you have 4 days of lifting if you include the arm day, which is every 6th day, every Saturday essentially. But you also have on the Tuesdays and Thursdays he put in 2 of these 3: a jump focus day, so you're working on your vertical, working on your lower body explosion, your single leg explosion, all that kind of stuff. A conditioning day, which he calls for assault bike sprints, but I didn't have an assault bike, so I had to do it on the water rower. But a conditioning day, some of them I guess were running.
Yep.
Or the third one, and this was my favorite, and I'm still doing this, are the sprint focus days. So literally doing, some days were 8, some were 9, and some were 10 40-yard sprints.
Yeah.
And he would have a
lot of fun.
Yeah. And he would have different RPEs, which is rating of perceived exertion, basically how hard you go on these sprints. But towards the end, they were all 10s, so as hard as you can go. But anyway, that's just a very basic overview of his program. And, I mean, it's going to shock your CNS, your central nervous system. But it's going to shock it because if you're not used to doing those types of movements and workouts and the loads that you got to put on, it's going to shock you.
It'll kick your ass.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kicked my ass for sure. Like the first 9-week strength just hit me right in the jaw.
I guess the strength was 9 weeks.
Yep.
And then the power phase is 4. So if you do both of them 13 weeks. Have you done the 4 week yet?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 9.
Yeah, because I remember I finished the strength like almost at the end of 75 hard.
Yeah.
That's when I was like,
that's right. I remember.
I need to sit for a second here.
But anyway, 9 or 13 weeks, whatever. Now, doing something after something like that, it doesn't have to be his program, but an 8-week program, or even a 4-week program, or a 10 or a 12. I've never really seen anything higher than that. Maybe a 16-week.
It purely depends on the training sometimes, but yeah, most of the time it's a 12-week block or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. So something personally that I not necessarily struggled with, but was just kind of like, now what? Because for that allotted time, you don't have to think about making your own workouts, which is nice.
Yep.
Okay, let someone else program them for me, and I'm going to go through it. I'm going to work my ass off. But you get after that, and it's like, now what do I do?
Well, especially someone who's qualified as Brock, too.
Absolutely.
That's the whole point of why we even did that, because it basically gives us experience and knowledge as trainers from learning from somebody who's more experienced than us. Yeah. Because it'd be asinine to be like, oh yeah, we're better trainers than Brock. Okay. Like, let's calm down.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. Which it wouldn't be true. And guys, the whole point of what we're saying is like, so if you're on somebody's program, like in our case, we're learning from it, just to give context.
Yes.
Like that was a big part of it. We're learning and we're really like getting another type of stimulus from this program, which is really cool because it keeps it very athletic.
Yes.
Which is like, that's, Wurtz and I have implemented all that stuff
it's
now.
Fun.
Because athletic stuff, I mean, as a trainer, I've used it with my 65-year-old clients.
Yeah.
Because it can be really functional for them, and those lateral movements and like the different type of functional movements can be so useful in daily life.
Yeah.
So
and what's cool too, I'll just like the clients that I train at Legacy are all athletes. Yep. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I've never trained like how I'm training them. So like I felt a little, not like an imposter, but just sort of like, okay, well, I know the basis of how this movement should look, but I've never actually done it myself. So when I had the opportunity to hop on something like Brock's program, where I'm doing a lot of the same or similar, or the idea behind the movements is similar to what my guys are doing, and then I'm doing them, like I can connect more with the kids and with the college guys and even the professional guys, on a new level, rather than I'm always someone that's essentially done like a bodybuilding type split.
Yep.
That
and the big reason I had you even start with that stuff was because the fact that I mean, it built you.
Look what happened.
Yeah. That was the entire idea, is because bodybuilding is a good foundation for those who are starting and whatnot. A lot of times,
or simple push-pull legs.
Yeah,
will work for a lot of people.
Exactly. It's a very functional aspect.
Absolutely.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, on my end of things, for sure, like that 9 weeks killed me for sure. So I even had to take a little bit of like a deload for probably like a week or so. Yeah, it was probably a week or so. During 75 hard in the gym, because it kicked my ass so badly. Because trap bar, Hatfield squats, or Hatfield, I guess, whatever you want to call them.
I love the Hatfield stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, just loading the shit out of everything.
Yes, everything. Everything.
And it was awesome, because you and I love lifting heavy weight, but we also love moving like an athlete still. Because you and I are still both very athletic dudes.
Yes.
And I don't plan to stop that until I'm in the ground.
No, because like I kind of had stopped that like a year, maybe a little bit more ago. And like my body wasn't moving like how it should. Like at 22, 23, almost 24 years old. Yep. Shout out, his birthday's Sunday, by the way. 24. He's gonna be old. Anyway.
Geezer season. My goodness.
But like at that age, your body shouldn't be having issues. Like your knees shouldn't be bothering you, your ankles, your hips, your shoulders. Like, playing a sport, sometimes that stuff will happen. You'll have issues, especially baseball players, a lot of shoulder issues. But it all comes down to flexibility and range of motion, which is essentially the same thing. But if you don't have those things, it doesn't matter what age you are, you're going to be hurting. You're going to be hurting, or down the road, you're going to have like a lot of big problems, Oh,
yeah.
And I've got a few kids in right now that their flexibility in their shoulders and in their hips is, it hurts me to watch them do some movements.
Here's what I found.
Okay, Siri, my bad, guys.
Siri just loves interrupting. See, hey, last episode.
Yeah, right.
Security.
Dang, I kind of lost my.
You were talking about your athletes and how they tend to be inflexible, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, like, what's popular on social media, and this is no fault of the kids, no fault, of a lot of trainers and whatnot. It's just bodybuilding is a very popular form of training. It's a great form of training, but you have to also incorporate the like flexibility, the range of motion, the agility, the power work, that type of stuff. Because,
stretching,
especially for athletes, you cannot stay ready to go. Like Jeff Vecchio, again, like his program's another good example. We've learned from a lot from him.
Absolutely.
Because his stuff he puts in is hockey curated for the hockey athletes. And
for sure.
The thing is, he even posted a story the other day I saw, and it was basically like saying how important it is to do, like, hockey has all these different, he listed like, I don't know, 15 damn things or something like that. I was like, damn, Jeff. Like, oh my goodness. But like, of basic you have to have down, and if you're not working on that stuff, then it's hopeless.
Right.
But again, everything he listed also, guess what, guys, on one of those programs is also useful for the Gen Pop client.
Yeah, exactly.
Too, because
or any athletes.
Yeah, for any athletes. Yeah, because if you can move that way, it genuinely helps you through the rest of your life too, and helps your joints, etc.
Absolutely.
But yeah, after a program, guys, so the hardest part, again, I mean, Wurtz said, like, was just like, what do I do now?
Yeah, right.
Now, what do you do? Now, take this into account. If you use one of our programs in the future and whatnot, that type of stuff or whatever. It's like, if you're on this 12-week program, whoever you're with, take the tips you learn from that, learn from your programs. That's a big thing.
Right.
Learn from those programs.
Yes.
You learn from them, you can use it after that too.
Yes.
So deload with similar stuff after, and then again, you can kind of mess around, see what you want to do after that too.
Right.
You can always hop back on a similar program, that type of stuff too. If that feels better for you, stay on a program.
Right.
Because some people really do function better on a program.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Because honestly, a lot of people just go to work and they don't want to think. They just want to like be told what to do. And honestly, I don't blame them.
Yeah,
I've talked to a lot of people that just enjoy group classes for that reason.
Yes.
So again, just learn from the programs, guys. Again, evaluate your body. Again, very similar to 75 Hard. Again, evaluate your body after this. Are you good? It was a program, nice to your body. That's a funny word, or funny phrase. But evaluate where you're sitting at and how you kind of, okay, am I ready to go for some more stuff similar to this? Where do I want to go from here? Do I want to now, since I did strength and power, do I want to go back to bodybuilding for a little bit? That's what Wurtz has kind of delved back into that again. He really enjoys that type of training. So
I'm trying to find a happy medium where I can have that power, athletic, kind of the stuff from Brock's program, and mix it in with a bodybuilding split. I'm trying to kind of mix the two, so that I can kind of get back to putting on some actual muscle and just compound movements, or actually variations of compound movements. Like I'm still doing Hatfield squats instead of regular squats, just because for me personally, I can load the Hatfield more, which is the point of it. But you can load it more, and for me, it just feels like I'm putting so much, or I'm gaining so much strength and muscle in my legs, in my glutes, everything, and I feel freaking powerful in those.
And that's the thing too. Wurtz even mentioned putting on real muscle with bodybuilding. So the interesting thing about fitness, guys, you have to take into account is that it's a still pretty fledgling research type of subsect of research. A lot of it's only been nutrition and fitness research has really blossomed in the last 20-30 years. Everything else, you're talking drugs, drugs like pharmaceutical drugs, that type of stuff, have been researched, and all this other stuff been researched for centuries, pretty much. A lot of stuff like herbal medicine, that type of stuff.
I was about to say, especially the natural type stuff.
So that's been researched for hundreds of years. So that's a little different than fitness and nutrition. So it's always evolving. So that's one thing that's good too, is that especially after these programs and whatnot, 75 Hard, always evolve during them, because it's good to, and it's fun. You'll find it's really fun to evolve too, because there's the jury still out on whether strength-based stuff builds the most muscle. Bodybuilding seems to build the most just pure muscle, but it also can have negative effects of you being a little bit more immobile.
Absolutely.
So you have to take all these different things into account. Everyone, again, it's really this sounds probably way more complicated than it really is, because truthfully, this is a pretty simple thing to follow. Just evolve with it and kind of play around with it. I always tell people, again, the one thing it comes down to is just do what you enjoy. And because it makes fitness so much easier when you enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Because I never have. If I find someone I don't enjoy after a week, I'm no. I'm because I will go only 2 days this week, and I'll be wow, I'm a shithead. But it's you have to find someone that keeps you in the gym for that 5, 6, 7 days a week that you're active, not necessarily of course lifting. But,
Well, and I think also don't be scared to try new things too. Try new movements, try new programs. If you're someone that's always done a bodybuilding split or always done a push-pull legs, look for an athletic-based type of movement. Who cares what other people in the gym are going to think? You're going to look a little funny doing some of the movements. They're different. Most people don't. Again, the Hatfields, I'd never seen that before. You use the yoke bar, and some of it you're doing 200 to 300 pounds on one leg, and you don't have any hands on the bar. It's just how these movements work. And you might be doing a bunch of med ball stuff, so it might be kind of loud because you're slamming the med ball. Who cares if people are turning to look and watch you? More than likely, they're gonna be damn, that looks cool.
It does.
I want to do that.
All of those look cool too.
So I think that was that's an aspect to some people. Oh, I'm gonna be looking weird in the gym because I'm not benching. I'm what? That's your reason?
Okay, Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah. That's your reason around doing it. So don't be scared to try new things post program. That's kind
of the summary.
Quick summary of it. Kind of where we go.
And then going into the third point of the regular working out and your your regular walks and whatnot. That's something. So
basically, not on a program of any kind.
Not on a program of any kind. So that's going to take especially the exploring part. So if you haven't run any program or anything like that, if you're deciding I don't want to follow anybody else's program, I want to do my own thing, you need to do a lot of research on your own because you need to be well versed. You can't just come in SBD, squat, bench, deadlift, and that's it, or only do push-pull legs the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's you need to be doing research on new things that come up.
Yes.
Do I need to take 2 days a week to maybe throw in yoga? Do I need to take a couple days a week to throw in a walk? I'm sorry, not a walk. To throw in like just flexibility work and whatnot.
Which
now
really should be every day.
I think truthfully,
we both learned that.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. But the biggest thing though is like if you're off a program, and I would say this is for anybody for general health, and I was talking to Wurtz about this too. It's like walks are the easiest and most basic form of stuff you should be doing no matter who you are.
Yes.
Because it's such a low intense form of exercise that one, it facilitates recovery for the rest of your body.
Yeah.
And especially from lifting, because what it does is it puts a light amount of blood flow, gets your heart pumping a little bit, lets it start to be like, okay, here we go, we're going to send blood here to recover this, that type of stuff.
Right.
And what's great about that is that it also lets you kind of get into your head, like kind of start evaluating things.
Yeah, it's a big mental thing too.
We're gonna harp on walking over and over again.
Yes.
Because of the fact that it's literally like 90% mental and 10% physical.
Yeah.
Because maybe even like 95-5 actually.
It could be. Depends on who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Because walks, if it's with no weight, no nothing, no ruck, no nothing, it's not going to be very difficult. It's going to be a low intense type thing, which is the entire point of it.
Yes.
So again, it's going to be a huge mental thing. It's going to let you recover, and it's also that low intense form also helps oxidize and use a lot of fat in your exercise.
Yeah.
So that is a big factor too. So at least like 3 days a week of walk, 3 to 4 days a week.
Yes.
I would say for anybody on any program,
absolutely,
100% any program.
And like we talked about this with Mitch, a lot of people sit at a desk indoors all day staring at computer screens. Find a way during your workday to go out for a walk, even if it's literally 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't care if you go a half a mile. Like, I don't care. That's still better than 0 minutes and doing 8 straight hours of looking at computers. Like, you guys, you need that break.
Yep.
You need that break.
Yep.
That's physical and mental. Like physically, your eyes need a break from the computer screen. Go out and get some sunlight. Mentally, you're just sitting there reading or doing whatever you do on the computer. Like, you got to have a break. You got to have a break.
And by the way, this doesn't just include sunny days. This is we're talking. I don't care if it's cloudy outside. The outside air and the fresh air, and actually getting to breathe non-filtered air inside a building and whatnot, and just being outside. Our bodies are so naturally meant for that.
Yes.
That it is such an important thing for you to have some kind of outdoor aspect in your life.
Yes.
Not even just a walk. It could, like, you need to have some form where you're sitting out in your patio, sitting out on your front porch, whatever the hell you have.
Right.
And that needs to be a big part of what you do.
Yeah.
And this is when you're not in any program, of course. Honestly, when we were on the program, we were still doing walks for Brock.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I was on 75 hours, of course. But basically what we're saying is that a walk is the easiest form of recovery there is.
Yeah.
It's the easiest form of activating your mental health aspect of the physical part and combination of the two. And so we can't stress enough how important, if you're not in a program, you're doing your own thing, if you need to be doing your own research and you need to be throwing in walks.
Yeah.
I'm going to push, again, it's going to be probably annoying the amount we push walks, but it's just such a basic form of fitness that it is so good for you, and your endorphins are flowing after and whatnot. You're like, just breathe. Like, it's almost like a form of meditation in a way.
It's kind of where I was going to go with this. This is something too. Like, night walks are very underrated. Now, I will say this: if you're going to walk at night, I don't care what time it is.
Caveat.
Be smart. Be aware, male or female. Be aware. And I get it. A lot of females are scared to walk alone at night. And hey, there's even nights where, like, I'm by myself. I'm just, I'm being extra careful. Just being aware. Like, I'm not just constantly, like, zoned in and worried that, is somebody following me.
It's definitely a light scan I do when I'm working at night.
Just be aware. And females, like, you don't have to go alone. You can bring someone with you.
Bring your father, bring your boyfriend, bring a guy friend. Bring a couple of other girlfriends.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Or, like, you don't have to go at 11 p.m. or midnight. Like, that's where I've done a lot of my walks personally. However, I feel very safe in my area that I walk in at those times. Again, if you don't, like, I get it. You don't have to walk at night, but for me, and I think a lot of people will benefit, if you have the option, it's different. Like, if you get a clear night where the moon is out, the stars are out. Like, I'm someone, I love looking at space. Like, the stars, the moon, it's all very, very interesting to me. It's crazy. Those new pictures that came out from that new telescope.
Yeah,
like
cool.
Unbelievable. Very so cool. Hopefully the government's not lying to us about that.
Again, that's actually what's weird is because some of that stuff that came out, it's like, how in the world do we have those pictures, but we can't like, because somebody made a point like, why can't we see closer to us and what's going on at like different moons at Saturn or whatever that type of stuff. So I thought that was interesting, but again, I don't know anything about telescopes and how they work, so I could be way off base there. But again,
anyway, it's just there's another element to those later night walks that there's no cars driving around, there's no other people out. It's quiet. The bugs might be going here in the summer. There's maybe that light, like nighttime breeze. I'm fortunate. I have a small lake that I get to walk around, and the fountain is going. And
it's also a well-lit area you walk into.
It's also a well-lit area. There's a few dark spots, especially around the lake. But again, like it's a safe neighborhood that I'm in, and I'm thankful for that. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been a huge part of my life for the past 2-3 years.
Yep.
And it's calming. It's very, very calming.
Yep.
And you don't have to be speed walking and working up a sweat right before you go to bed or anything like that.
Sure, yeah.
Take your time, I prefer to do it with no music or anything. Part of it is just so I can be more aware of my surroundings.
I was going to say, probably don't, just a general tip, don't wear headphones.
Yes.
Honestly,
especially on the night ones, but also I like to hear nature, and sometimes I'm literally speaking to myself out loud. And this can be something that you add in post programs, but it also applies to literally anytime. So program or not program, I don't care, but this can be applied to anytime. Morning walks, noon walks, nighttime walks, it doesn't matter. He's exactly right. Like, we're never going to stop advocating for walks. Now, walking might just get redundant for you. So ways we can add in. We go further distances. We can increase the pace. Like when I first started doing my actual walks for like 75 hard, or just like not relaxing walks, but actual exercise walks, I was like, okay, we're gonna no higher than 16-minute miles is when I first started. Now, with a full weight vest and everything, and sometimes even water, like a Camelback on top of the weight vest, I'm looking at like no longer than 14 minutes a mile. That's fast. That's moving.
He cruises when he walks.
That's moving.
It's sometimes hard to keep up with, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah.
And so adding those types of things in distance, the pace, and then going and getting a weight vest.
Yep. Wurtz and I have a 40 and a 20-pound weight vest.
Yeah, exactly.
Simply,
both are from Amazon. You don't have to get
I was
going to
say, ask us if you want the recommendation for what it is. It's super simple.
Yeah, exactly. Other things are go somewhere else. Get a new environment. Go hike. Go to a different neighborhood. There's a super wealthy neighborhood not far from where I live that we go to that has massive hills. I mean, Bertha-size hills.
One of them had me begging for mercy.
And at the point that we did this specific hill, we've actually only done it, I guess, the one time. We've done other parts of this neighborhood, but this specific hill, it was before we had the real weight vest. So what we were doing was sticking dumbbell weights, like free dumbbell plates.
Horrible idea.
In backpacks.
Yep.
Just tearing our backs apart.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I might have scoliosis after that, to be honest.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because it's almost straight up. But, those are different ways, guys, that you can make those walks into rucks, or just more interesting. Because it's the same thing. He said you can't just do push-pull legs the rest of your life, because one, your body's going to get used to it, so the progress is going to kind of slow.
Yeah, it's going to stagnate.
The plateau type thing, which like isn't really a real thing, but whatever. But it keeps your mind like, hey, this is new, like this is cool, like it's a different environment. Find different environments to walk in, or ways to make it harder when you're to that point. So
yeah.
Guys, we just threw a lot at you.
Yeah.
But post 75 hard, evaluate yourself.
Yep.
Post week program.
13-week program, evaluate yourself.
Evaluate yourself.
Do some research, maybe incorporate that stuff into your workouts.
Yeah.
And then when you're on your own doing your own stuff, if you're going to do without programs and whatnot, make sure, again, you're doing the research.
Yes.
You're evolving with the research and whatnot that's out there. Again, you can just ask people like us too.
Yeah.
You don't have to go on a program. It's not like we're not going to gatekeep information from you. It's not going to happen. So that's an option. And then the walks.
Yeah.
Most basic form of fitness there is, and you can also scale them.
And like, I guess something too, like if you struggle to get out and walks, like get a dog.
Oh yeah,
dogs.
I thought about that. For the people that have dogs, you can wear their asses out if you go for a while with that. Yeah.
And something I will say too, just for that third point, where if you don't want to follow a program or something, again, that's totally fine. Totally fine. Just be smart about it. In the aspect of being smart, there's a lot of people through social media that are people who aren't necessarily like educated.
They peddle
in writing programs.
They peddle bullshit is what Wurtz is trying to say.
Yes. So like they're not all necessarily need to be discredited. However, just look at who the people are, and if like they're doing some movement that just looks ridiculous or unsafe or something, or you don't think makes any sense, don't do it.
Yep.
You know, like there's definitely people on Instagram, you know, different people associated with brands that we like and whatnot that I'll get ideas from, but I won't always just follow their workouts word for word and like, because you doing their workouts is not going to cause you to look like them. Because a lot of those people,
either they're freak genetics,
they have, you know, access to an awesome diet, you know, an awesome atmosphere,
a lot of recovery,
or they may not be natural.
Or they're doing all the things and they're on steroids. Yeah. You don't necessarily discredit it, but yeah.
You're right. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with not being natural, because if you do it correctly, like, you still have to be putting in the work. You still have to have the diet, the sleep, the recovery, the hydration, all that kind of stuff. So everyone's like, oh, they're on steroids, they're cheating. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah.
You still have to put that work in.
They just add higher testosterone a little bit. There's a risk that comes along with it and whatnot, and you get stronger. And
and again, you just have to do research. If you're going to do something like that, you got to do research on it.
Absolutely.
But
want to go into the Q&A?
Yeah, we have a Q&A submitted. This is a bit of a long one, so I got to make sure I remember it.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's a would you rather, and it's would you rather have all the right answers to all of your questions, or would you rather know the right questions to ask to get your answers?
Yeah, get answers on stuff,
So would you rather know the answers to all your questions? Or would you rather know the right questions to ask to get your answers?
Yeah. And if you pick the first one, you cannot know like the questions.
Well,
basically, is the idea of those right answers.
Go ahead.
On my end, I would definitely go with the right questions to ask. 100%.
Yes.
Easily. And the reason that is, guys, and this, you know, we can make our Q&As funny, we can make them, you know, whatever. But this one especially, like, I mean, if you're asking the right questions, it's going to help you grow so much.
Exactly.
And so I would rather ask the right questions every single day of the week. All the time, because then if I go and ask the right questions to everybody, you know, the Brocks and Jeffs, the people that we look up to and whatnot at our work, at Lifetime and at Legacy and whatnot, we ask the right questions there to our managers, etc. All of a sudden, things start really going well for you and whatnot too. And again, like that's a skill you have to cultivate in real life, but you're not always going to ask the right question. That's a human thing. It's a human error.
But absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that was going to be my choice too, because if you're just always getting the right answers, you're gonna not ask the right questions.
Yeah,
that's like what we just said.
It's like an ego thing too. That like, I know all the right answers.
Right. So I would definitely have to go with the second option. You know, knowing what questions to ask, because it'll help in every aspect of your life. I mean, regardless of fitness or your job or whatever, like you'll always be learning. Because you'll be asking the right questions. You know, and I think because no one has this capability, you know, either way, the fact that sometimes you're going to ask the wrong questions, you're still going to learn. Oh yeah, you're still going to grow from those.
It's definitely a cool human thing to it. It's definitely a huge human thing to it.
Yeah, just like, you know, if you fail at a certain task, you know, at your job, or you're trying to grow a business like what we are, and you fail at a task, like you failed, but you're going to learn. As long as you handle it correctly, you will learn from it. And if you fail and you just like throw in the towel and be like, oh, well, I guess I'm just not meant to do this. Guess I'm just not meant for a business. Like, that's not learning anything. That's weak. I mean, that's being weak. But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty simple one to answer, choosing that second one.
Most part,
you know.
Thanks to the stud who submitted that. By the way.
Yeah. No, we appreciate that. So, guys, again, we covered a lot of really good stuff. Back to kind of the fitness topic. So 75 hard, being on a specific week program, or not being on any programs at all. It all comes down to just evaluating yourself. You know, post all those things, you know, and just being smart with your body. And if your body does something physical like it did to his, be smart about it. Don't be like, oh yeah, let's go do some tricep dips now. Like, okay, dude. Dumbass.
If I would have done that, it would have been over.
I would have kicked you in the face.
I wouldn't have elbows anymore. Yeah. It'd be game over.
So, guys, reach out with any questions regarding any of that. I'm sure it's going to spur up questions in your mind. So, guys, reach out to us. We would love to help you out with those things. If you're thinking about starting 75 hard, again, you can reach out. We'll give you suggestions for books, for workouts, maybe even some diet stuff. You know, we can give you recommendations on all that stuff. Rock, shout out to you. Jeff, shout out to you.
Yep.
Andy, for the program. And anyone else that we mentioned there, like shout out to all you guys.
Yeah.
We really do truly try to learn from you guys as much as we can. I don't think you guys quite understand how much you mean to us. So we appreciate you guys so much. We love you guys. We are very, very thankful for the relationships that we have built and continue to build with you guys. So shout out to all you guys. We appreciate you more than you know, for real. Yeah. And we're not alone in that.
Yeah, share the pod.
Share the podcast, guys. Again, we are on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. Reach out through Instagram on our personal DMs or on the Education DMs on Facebook.
We'll have more YouTube videos coming up here soon.
More YouTube.
The episodes out on that, yeah.
And we, like the next few guests that we have kind of listed out for us, we are freaking pumped about.
Absolutely lit up about it.
Yes. So, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. Until next time, peace and love.